Welcome, Stashers, to another episode of Stache Sports. Wow, a wild trade today. The Buffalo Bills got DJ Moore, a talented wide receiver from Chicago Bears, because the Bears have a pretty stacked receiver room with Ramsey and Burden, who's probably going to have a lot bigger step up next year for the Chicago Bears. Now that DJ Moore's gone, but now the Buffalo Bills finally got a missing piece. They need an offense, a good receiver, but something that Josh Allen hasn't had. I mean, they had Shakir. Shakir's pretty good, but they need somebody else but Shakir, and maybe somebody else. But the Buffalo Bills finally got themselves a good receiver. I bet my friend Brandon's happy that the Buffalo Bills finally got themselves a good receiver. But that's a wild trade. And it's going to be good for the Buffalo Bills, because I think DJ Moore had a really good impact this year for the Chicago Bears. And was a really big difference maker in some of the games. I remember one of the games watching when DJ Moore had a game-winning play. I remember that. And I remember when he had some game-winning plays in the games to help the Chicago Bears win. That's a wild trade today for the Buffalo Bills. Brian Bean's finally trying to do something at GM now. Now that they have a new head coach, it's going to be interesting to see what Buffalo Bills can do. But now we got a good receiver. It'd be interesting to see if they draft somebody else or try to sign someone free and see when it opens next week and try to get somebody else to secure in there. But they have a pretty decent offense right now with DJ Moore. I think DJ Moore is going to have a big year this year, and fantasy owners are going to really like that for fantasy football purposes, because he's had Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen and DJ Moore are going to find a good connection, and it's going to be a good trade. I really do think this is a good trade for the Buffalo Bills, even though I'm a Steelers fan. But we'll see. I think our Steelers need to get another receiver or two myself. Maybe they draft somebody or sign somebody in free agent like Romeo Doubs. That might not be bad to sign Romeo Doubs in free agency and maybe draft somebody in a draft this year. Or maybe if they are really trying to get Brian Thomas Jr., get Brian Thomas Jr. maybe and sign someone else. Brian Thomas Jr. is still on his rookie contract from the Jaguars, so that won't be bad for the Steelers. But we need more receivers than just DK Metcalf, like the Buffalo Bills have now with DJ Moore. We need to do something like that too. But I really do think it's a good trade. I mean, the Buffalo Bills. I mean, the Bears did pretty good too. They still have Luke Verberden, or how do you say his name, and they have Rome to Doomsday and Cole Kmet and other good receivers for them, so they can always get someone else in free agency for less money. But it looks good for DJ Moore, and now he can be like the number one receiver in Buffalo, so that's pretty good. And the Buffalo Bills did need a receiver, so I think that's a good trade. It's going to be interesting to see what interesting to get a second-round pick to Chicago for the trade, because that's not a bad trade for them at all. We'll see what happens to Chicago and what they do with the pick and what happens to that. But I think the Buffalo Bills won that trade. Also, reports last night is Johnny Smith for the Pittsburgh Steelers got cut, which is good. I mean, that guy really did nothing last year. I mean, we have Jalen Ramsey, and Jalen Ramsey had a good year last year, in my opinion. But Johnny Smith really didn't. I mean, he had a couple touchdowns and like 200 yards, I think they said last night, not like sports call. But it's not like he really did anything for impact. Connor Hayward was more impactful than him on the tush push with his brother, or brotherly shove, whatever you want to call it, the little tush push play that Pickford would do last year if that was successful. With that Arthur Smith offensive mind, but that was the play that was successful at times last year when they did a little brotherly shove, whatever you want to call it in Pittsburgh. The tush push, or whatever you want to call it. But Connor Hayward had a lot more impact. And also Darnell Washington looked really good last year, even though he broke his arm. He's going to have an impactful year, I think, this year. And maybe with Mike McCarthy now, they might try to get Pat Freiermuth finally open more and try to utilize Pat Freiermuth more this year. So that's good. So it also saves the Steelers $7 million on the cap hit. So that's good. So they can try to sign someone else if that's in much need. If we have a tight end that's not useful at all, and was kind of a bust coming in and didn't really have a successful year for the Steelers, to be quite honest. But that's okay. We have other good tight ends like Mount Washington and Pat Freiermuth, so we'll be fine. And Connor Hayward wasn't bad last year, but we do need receivers. But we do need receivers for the Steelers, like the Buffalo Bills got with DJ Moore. I mean, we do need receivers no matter who the quarterback is. I don't know if I really want to be Aaron Rodgers. I might rather go see what Will Howard can get us. But I think next year's going to be better in class. But I don't know. I'll come to that bridge when the decision. Last night at Pat McAfee's show, he really didn't say anything of note. But they haven't really had any talks yet. But free agency opens next week, so we'll see what happens. I mean, he is going to be older. I might want to go with Will Howard. Or maybe see if they can sign Kyle Murray to a cheap deal. They might be able to turn Kyle Murray around, but if not, they can maybe go with Will Howard. And if they're not, then draft somebody in next year's draft. But we'll see what the Steelers do. It's going to be a wild offseason for the Steelers. The draft this year in Pittsburgh. So we'll see what we do at 21 if we don't trade up. Try to get somebody. Or if we don't, and what else we do in the offseason when it starts next week. But that's going to be a good season. But we'll see what kind of direction Mike McCarthy wants to go into. I mean, I know everybody's saying Aaron Rodgers might come back, but yesterday I was a little confused, if you will. So I don't know what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers, to be quite honest. We'll find out, I guess, later. I hope he doesn't take as long as he did last year, because that was really long last year. I hope he doesn't do that, and if he does, I hope the Steelers say sayonara and try to move on in a different direction. But no matter who the quarterback is, we're going to need receivers, because I really do not trust Roman Wilson at all, unless somehow Mike McCarthy can make him better than Mike Tomlin could. Because Mike, for some reason, Roman Wilson was inactive a lot last year, even though he was healthy. He was a healthy scratch a lot last year and didn't play. And when he did play, he didn't really have anything that was impactful. And we also signed old people like NVS last year and Adam Thielen. Even though Adam Thielen had a couple of decent, and NVS has a couple of decent passes, we were playing over people like Roman Wilson when Roman Wilson was a healthy scratch. So I wonder what's up with Roman Wilson. Because I know the first year we drafted him from the University of Michigan, or like the third round or whatever it was, or later rounds, whatever round it was, I can't remember. He got hurt early on in the season, so that put a spell to the end of his first season. So last year was his second season, but he played some, but he wasn't all that impactful in my opinion. And I don't know, they didn't really use him at all sometimes, and they would put him on a healthy scratch, which means he was healthy, but he was just not dressed to play, which is odd. So I wonder what's up with him. But I do think we need another receiver, and I need DK Metcalf if we keep DK Metcalf this year. Because Metcalf is pretty good from last year, but we'll see what happens with that. Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, we did need more than one receiver. That's the thing that troubled the Steelers last year. I don't think they're going to keep Calvin Austin, but who knows? They might try to re-sign Calvin Austin, but I haven't heard anything about that yet, if they're interested in Calvin Austin or not. But I don't know. But if they don't sign him, all they got is Roman Wilson and Ben Skowronek. And Ben Skowronek's more of a special teamer. Maybe a little receiver that can go in the end zone and get you a couple of yards and maybe a touchdown. Maybe he can grow into more of a better receiver, but he's more of a special teamer. But that's okay. That's his role on the team. But we'll see. I do think we need to draft a receiver, even if we trade for a receiver like Brian Thomas Jr. or sign a receiver this year, like a Romeo Dobbs from the Packers. That might be interesting if he doesn't want too much money. Have Romeo Dobbs and then draft somebody else in like the first round, like a Cardinal Tate. Ooh, that would not be a pretty bad lineup. And then have our tight ends finally do so, and then have some good receivers for Pittsburgh, like the rest of the teams do. But we'll see. But I really do think the Buffalo Bills made out on the trade today, and STACHE Sports thinks that's a really good trade for the Buffalo Bills. Like STACHE Sports thinks yesterday's trade for the cornerback. And yesterday's trade what the Rams did was a good trade too for the Rams, but they got a lot more picks back. Like you can go watch yesterday's video. They got a lot more picks back, but I think the Buffalo Bills made off today because that's one thing they needed is a good receiver, and I think they got him in DJ Moore. But only time will tell. He was pretty good last year for the Bears, so we'll see what happens this year with Josh Allen in that division. But that division's wide open sometimes. But I don't think the Patriots will probably be good this year, but I don't think the Jets or Dolphins will be good, to be quite honest. But we'll see. We'll see what happens to that. So you have those two. You have those two in the division to worry about as the Patriots. So you have a division. It's going to be interesting to see it. And that's what Josh Allen is really needing, is a good receiver. The Pittsburgh Penguins are back in action tonight on the ice. Let's hope they bounce back after winning. But they play the Buffalo Sabres tonight, so that might be a tough task because the Buffalo Sabres are one of the good teams this year in hockey. So that might be really tough tonight. But without Sidney Crosby, let's see what happens. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. is a trade deadline, but we'll talk more about the trades on Saturday's video if the Penguins make any big trades. But we'll see. I think they need to make a trade for maybe a defensive man and maybe get another center in there that can help. In the meantime, Mark Crosby's out because we don't know if Crosby's out for 4 weeks. That might be okay, but I mean, if Crosby's out for all 4 weeks, that's not okay, and they might need another person better than Kevin Hayes at the face-off. That's not doing pretty good in the face-offs right now if you're watching the Penguins hockey games. So we might need a better one like Vincent Trocheck. If it's not too much to get Vincent Trocheck, maybe we can swing him by 3 p.m. tomorrow for the Penguins or somebody like that. Or maybe get some more defensive men. Who knows what Kyle Dubas is going to do. But so far, I really like what Kyle Dubas has done in trades that he has made so far this year, and getting Chirkov from Columbus. Stuart Skinner, that's looking pretty good. Shelox in the offseason, and all these other moves he's been doing this year. So I trust what he does during the trade deadline. But we'll see if they do anything this year. But they play tonight against the Buffalo Sabres. I think it's going to be a tough game for the Penguins, but I think they win it tonight. It's going to be a close one in Pittsburgh. But we'll see. I think Malkin scores. I think Ben Kendall scores. I think Brian Rest scores to win the game. But the Penguins are coming off a loss after losing to Boston 2-1. So let's hope they can bounce back and get a win tonight. I think the Boston Bruins are going to win against the Predators tonight. I think the Maple Leafs will beat the Rangers tonight. I think the Mammoth will beat the Flyers. I think the Panthers will beat the Blue Jackets. The Jets will beat the Lightning. The Flames will beat the Senators. And the Islanders will beat the Kings tonight. But let's hope the Penguins can bounce back. Hope Crosby can come back sooner rather than later, but we'll see. But the Penguins need to keep playing strong in the meantime because they still have a playoff spot. Even though they have a couple games they can mess around with. But they don't need to mess around too much because the wild card is really stacked this year in hockey. And we don't need to be falling down in there and trying to mess around with that. We need to stay number 2 right behind the Carolina Hurricanes, if not number 1 above Carolina. And not try to worry about the wild card right now. We need to keep winning. So let's hope they can do it tonight and have a decent win. And get 2 points. Too much needed points after that loss to Boston. But we'll see what happens. I saw a report today that Jason Tatum is going to come back. Jason Tatum could possibly come back on Friday from ESPN. That's just wild to me that Jason Tatum might come back Friday. I remember last playoff when Jason Tatum tore his Achilles that they said he might be out a whole year, but he's already coming back. That's pretty soon. That's pretty wild that he's coming back this soon. I mean, I wonder if it's because the Boston Celtics are so good this year and we're the number 2 team right behind the Detroit Pistons, and the East is wide open this year in basketball. I wonder if that's why he's rushing a little bit, or if he's healthy to go. But it's wild that from a torn Achilles, he's possibly coming back on Friday, according to ESPN basketball reporters. I think that's just wild that he's coming back that early from that injury. I mean, Tyrese Halliburton had that injury, and he's not coming back. But I mean, also the Indiana Pacers aren't that good this year, so that might be another reason why Jason Tatum coming back. But we'll see. I mean, if he's healthy, that's pretty good because the Celtics are pretty good this year, and getting him and Jaylen Brown back together, that's really good for the Celtics. So it's gonna be wild if Jason Tatum comes back for the Boston Celtics this year on Friday. I mean, I can remember the last playoffs when he tore his Achilles. That's wild if he comes back this early. But like I said, the Boston Celtics have an off night, which is good because they laid an egg last night against the Charlotte Hornets. It did not look good. Hopefully they can bounce back against the Dallas Mavericks tomorrow night, even if they don't get Jason Tatum back as reports, but we'll see. I think the Celtics win tomorrow night, and I think it's going to be a good game. If Jason Tatum comes back, it's going to be wild. It's going to be must-see TV if it's not on TV tomorrow night. But I can't believe that Jason Tatum's coming back too soon for the Boston Celtics after tearing his Achilles last year. That's just wild to me. But I think they win tomorrow night. And tonight's NBA games, I got the Magic over the Mavericks. I got the Jazz over the Wizards. I got the Heat over the Nets. I got the Warriors over the Rockets. I got the Raptors over the Timberwolves. I got the Pistons over the Spurs. I got the Bulls over the Suns. The Suns over the Bulls. The Lakers over the Nuggets. Nuggets over Lakers, and Pelicans over Kings tonight. And tonight's basketball picks by STACHE Sports. I think Detroit's going to do good tonight. Detroit's one of the best teams in the East. They're going to be tough to beat. But if we get Jason Tatum back, that's going to be really huge for us Boston Celtics fans. It's just wild to me still, but he might be coming back as early as Friday. But that's just wild. But those are my picks for tonight. Friday picks. My early Friday picks. I got the Celtics over the Mavericks. I got the Heat over the Hornets. That's tomorrow. I got the Trailblazers over the Rockets tomorrow. I got the Knicks over the Nuggets tomorrow. I got the Pelicans over the Suns tomorrow. I got the Spurs over the Clippers tomorrow. And I got the Lakers over the Pacers tomorrow. Wow. I think the Celtics bounce back after losing it to the Charlotte Hornets and laying an egg. I think they bounce back. It'll be wild to me if Jason Tatum does come back tomorrow night versus the Mavericks. But the Mavericks not that good. So I hope the Boston Celtics don't lay another egg like they did. And I hope they beat the Boston. I hope they beat the Mavericks because they don't need to be doing back-to-back laying eggs. They need to play better against these teams that they need to beat, like the Hornets and the Mavericks that aren't that good this year. But let's say they bounce back. I think they do tomorrow night. And I think Tatum might play tomorrow night. That'd be wild. Tomorrow's the World Baseball Classic. USA plays Brazil tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. I think USA wins Game 1 against Brazil. I wonder how good Paul Skeem is going to pitch for the USA. Paul Skeem is going to be a great pitcher for the USA. But let's hope he pitches well for them. It doesn't pitch too well because we're going to need Paul Skeem to start year for the Pirates. I can't wait for the Pirates season to start. We're 9-3 this year in spring training. Can't believe how good they are. Let's hope the Pirates keep doing this good when it counts. But that'd be pretty good if they can keep winning like this. And we have a good team this year. Because he knows how much longer we have Paul Skeem. And he knows if next year we'll have a lockout and have a year less of Paul Skeem if it comes back. Because of the players' negotiation, money dying out, whatever it is. Or running out, whatever it is. But that's just wild if we lock out next year. But hopefully with all these new additions, Marcell Ozuna, Ronald Harn, Brendan Lau, McGollum, and all these other ones are adding. They can do something. They also traded Kyle Nichols last night for the infielder for the Cincinnati Reds. I don't know what to think about this trade. Hopefully this trade is his depth piece because he's more of a minor league player. And that means that Connor Griffin is going to be on the plane to New York on opening day, which as Pirate fans want. We want to see Connor Griffin on the plane to New York. We want to see the best roster you can possibly put on the playing field. Bob Nutton and general manager give Don Kelly the best roster he had. Please. That's what we want to see as Pirate fans. We've been waiting long. We need a good year this year. Our division's wide open. The Pirates need to have a good year this year. They need to call Connor Griffin up on opening day. He needs to make history as the youngest player to be called up at 19 years old. But I really do believe that they need to call him up. And I really do believe that the Kyle Nichols trade is the step in that direction. I hope they do because we need to start off the best. I'm done with starting off the best, and we need to keep doing the best. I mean, we have a good shot this year, actually being above 500, and maybe even making away a wild card, or maybe even winning the division this year, in my personal opinion. Because like I said before, the Chicago Cubs are okay. They might be close with us, The Cardinals, I don't think will be that good this year. In my personal opinion, I don't think the St. Louis Cardinals will be that good. The Cincinnati Reds might sneak up on us, but I don't know about the Reds. The Brewers might be okay, but I think the Pirates might have made a little more moves than the Brewers did this year. I think the Brewers lost a couple key players to trades this year, but we'll see. They might be a sneaky team too. But the Pirates have a good year this year. I think they can really do something. They have a good pitching staff this year. Maybe Bubba Chandler can turn around. He's looking pretty good so far in spring training. And the Pirates are looking really good really right now in spring training. Even though we don't have people like Paul Skeens because he's pitching for the United States and maybe some other players that are playing for the countries right now. But the Pirates are looking really good. So let's hope that can continue when it counts in the regular season. I mean, the Pirates need to do that. They need to keep working good and keep playing hard. They don't need to mess around with the season and start off hot. Like I said, they really need to bring a Connor Griffin. I've been watching a couple of spring training games this year because I can get it on S&P 360 up here in Pittsburgh. And a couple of games I've seen, he hit home runs. Those balls are pretty far. And he has pretty loud outs this year. But they really need to call up Connor Griffin. I mean, Connor Griffin is the man. He is the man. And they need to sign him. And also sign Paul Skeens. That'd be wild too if they can do both of both. Pirate fans would probably go bananas if they did that. I mean, I definitely would. I'll be bonkers if they did that. But if they do call him up, they're going to need to re-sign him, so it's going to be interesting to see. But I mean, if they do put him down in minor league, he'll be called up sometime. But I really hope they call him up on opening day roster, to be quite honest with you guys. But we'll see what happens. I mean, we only have a couple more weeks to find out because the opening day for Pirates is near the end of the month of March. Near March Madness time, too. Near March Madness time, too, is what I said. But we'll see. The Pirates lost today, but now they're 9-3, so that's not bad in spring training. We only lost by 1 run. But that's not bad. 9-3 right now for the Pirates in spring training, and their hitting is doing really good. So let's hope that can translate into a regular season because the Pirates were pretty bad last year in hitting. They were ranked pretty dead last in hitting last year, so that's why they started bringing in people like Brandon Lau and making big trades finally, and not sitting on their hands and feet and saying we don't have enough money. They're finally starting to do it. Let's hope they do it all and bring up Connor Griffin. But we'll see. It's going to be interesting watching the World Baseball Classic and seeing how good they do. Seeing how good Paul Skeens does in the USA. But I think they win tomorrow night. Yep. But I think they win tomorrow night. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. I just hope that Paul Skeens has a pitch too hard. We need him for the long season. I got Michigan over Iowa tonight. Michigan's looking pretty good in basketball this year. They're looking like they could be one of the top teams, maybe the Final Four team in March Madness this year. That's just wild. Michigan's pretty good this year. But maybe they could be one of the teams to beat in March Madness if they make it. The number 3 team right now in the nation, so they're definitely most likely make it. It's going to be interesting to see if they win the Big Ten this year. But I think they beat Iowa tonight. Or we got Michigan State. Michigan State's odds are pretty good in the Big Ten. Michigan State's mostly a basketball school. But they're pretty good this year. And at number 8, I think they beat Rutgers tonight. I think ECF beats West Virginia tonight. They're playing in West Virginia. Oh man. West Virginia! But I think ECF wins tonight. ECF is 12-9 now, and 9-8 in the Big 12. So let's hope they win. Because they need to keep winning if they need to make March Madness. They might be able to make March Madness, though, 10 losses, but I don't know. And the team was 64. I mean, they looked pretty good and had a couple of good wins this year against top-ranked teams. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But they need to keep winning. They don't need to mess around. And maybe make some noise in the in the Big 12 tournament this year. But we'll see what happens. But I think they beat West Virginia tonight. I think Virginia beats... That's Saturday, correct? I think on Saturday, Virginia beats Virginia Tech. Well, that's Saturday, never mind. But yeah, I think UCF wins against West Virginia But it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I mean, they need to keep winning to make it March Madness. They're looking pretty good this year. I mean, better than other years. But they've been on a slump lately. They need to start getting back on a winning track tonight against West Virginia. But I think they do that. But yes, like I said in the beginning of the video, I really do think that the trade for the Buffalo Bills was really good today. DJ Moore. I mean, that's really good. That's one thing the Buffalo Bills needed, was a really good playmaker, wide receiver, and I think they got that today. And that really good trade for them. And the Bears were able to do that because they could get off the salary cap, even though we had a lot of money on the salary cap, because they have other receivers like Rumble Tuesday and Bourbon, or other receivers, Burdan or whatever his name is, that can play on their team. So that's really good for them. That's good that they're doing that. But good, and that's a good trade. It'll be interesting to see if the Steelers make any moves before the season starts, or what they'll do. I don't know right now, but I'll keep you updated on the Steelers moves. But like I said at the beginning of the video, who we traded for last year, and when we traded for John Smith last year, I thought it'd be a decent trade because he was pretty good for Miami the year before. But after that year, he looked pretty bad last year and only had 200 yards and like 2 touchdowns. So good riddance to him. At least able to $7 million in the cap hit, so that's so good. That can bring a good receiver in that we need, either in a trade, free agency, or a draft, or both. That can bring good receivers in that we need that can help the Steelers. So that's what they need right now. It's something to help the Steelers with receivers. No matter who the quarterback is, they're going to need receivers, like the Buffalo Bills do. And like I said, the Buffalo Bills got one today too. So that's nice for the Buffalo Bills. But that's good for the Buffalo Bills. I'm getting that for them. But like I said, I think the Steelers need a receiver. It's going to be interesting tomorrow too to see if the Penguins make any big trades before the 3 p.m. trade deadline in the NHL. Will they try to get like a veteran Trocheck from the New York Rangers, or maybe try to get a defensive man? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what they do between now and 3 p.m. tomorrow Eastern time to see what they do, if they make any big moves, or if they don't. I don't know if I really want to make a big move because they do have a good team right now, even though Crosby's out. We have a pretty good team, so you don't really want to mess around with that. So I don't know if I want to do much, but I mean, they might need another center. Because like I said earlier in the video, I don't think Kevin Hayes is doing that good right now on the face-off when I've been watching him play. They need to put someone else on the face-offs, or get somebody else like a Vincent Trocheck that's better on the face-offs that can help you in the meantime with Sidney Crosby, and also be a good depth piece when the kid comes back from his injury. So I don't know, maybe if they don't, because also Vincent Trocheck wants out of New York too. Forgot to say that. He wants out of New York, but he wants to stay on the East Coast. So Pittsburgh will be on the East Coast, and he also, I think it's from Pittsburgh or something, has some kind of connections down here. So that might be a name to watch out for tomorrow at 3 p.m. if the Rangers are willing to move on from him at the right price and the Penguins don't spend too much. But it'll be interesting to see. I'll keep you updated on the trades, but who the Penguins get, if we do anything on the trade deadline. But it'll be interesting. But I don't know what's going to happen. But I do trust Kyle Dubas and see what Kyle Dubas will do, if he'll do anything big by 3 p.m. tomorrow Eastern time. But I don't know. Also, we'll see the Steelers make any moves more than just cutting players. It's going to be interesting to see who our quarterback is. But like I said, no matter who our quarterback is, we're going to need more receivers than just DK Metcalf. We can't just have DK Metcalf as our receivers. I know we got Pat Fryer moving, Matt Washington for tight ends, and they might get utilized more. But we do also need more receivers than just DK Metcalf. Because I don't know if we're going to re-sign Calvin Austin. I don't think we're going to re-sign him and try to sign him in free agency, or we can come back to us. But anyway, we still need more receivers because Roman Wilson is not the answer, in my opinion. I think Roman Wilson is a bust, if I'm going to be quite honest. I don't know if Mike McCarthy can turn him around, or if Will Howard or whoever the quarterback is can turn him around. I mean, Aaron Rodgers didn't really like him last year, But I don't know what was wrong with him last year. He was healthy scratches in the season, so I don't know what was wrong with him last year, but I don't know. But thank you for watching another episode of STACHE Sports. Please leave comments below what I can talk more about. But thank you for watching another episode of STACHE Sports.